Our almost unbelievable case in today's video comes from the land of rippers. A part of a female body without a head was wrapped in a bathroom curtain. Not far from the place of the first find, a plastic bag was soon found, in which part of the pelvis and thighs lay up to the knee. The St. Petersburg Police Department conducted a scavenger hunt-style search until they found the remaining body parts. A total of 8 were discovered, distributed among neighboring residential structures. These parts were wrapped in garbage bags and shoved into waste cans. The 79-year-old victim was Valentina Ulanova. Everyone who knew her considered Ulanova to be the ideal neighbor. Active at her age, she delighted in volunteer work, and according to one neighbor, Ulanova was a joyous individual. The notion that someone could murder and dismember a woman as kind-hearted as Ulanova was inconceivable to most people. However, it was Ulanova's compassion and generosity that led to her death. Police took the most logical step and began looking at the closest person to Ulanova, her roommate. Tamara Samsonova was not well liked in her community, but Ulanova's kindness towards her during her stay in her home demonstrated her empathetic nature. Samsonova had previously shared apartments with other people but was repeatedly evicted. Ulanova had agreed to let Tamara stay with her because she was being evicted from her own apartment, which the police would later refer to as a crypt clogged with trash. One neighbor referred to her as a gutter grandmother. She was a sour and spiteful woman whom others avoided at all costs. Tamara's gruesome acts were triggered by a dispute with her housemate, during which Tamara beat the victim, dismembered her corpse, and carried her out to the street. Initially denying responsibility for the murder, Tamara quickly confessed when confronted by police with CCTV footage of the crime. Following her confession of the murder, Tamara was dubbed Baba Yaga. In Slavic and Russian folklore, Baba Yaga lures victims into her home with her maternal grandmother traits, but once they are inside, she transforms into an evil witch. Tamara made multiple trips carrying out Valentina's corpse, bag by bag, and deposited the bits in 8 different locations around St. Petersburg. After dismembering the body into small pieces, Tamara boiled Valentina's head in a soup pot. Some people speculate that she actually consumed parts of Ulanova's body, mentioning that her favorite part was the lungs. When police asked the crazed killer about her motive, she simply replied, "I really liked her apartment." Police discovered an unsettling piece of evidence while rummaging through the cluttered apartment: Tamara's daily journal. This diary, later dubbed the Killing Diary by the police, was nearly 2 decades old. It was written in Russian, English, and German. While it appeared to have been written by multiple people due to the use of various lettering and writing styles, investigators quickly discovered that Samsonova was its only author. Even more startling was the fact that this Killing Diary detailed 10 more murders in exquisite detail. Authorities had a serial killer on their hands. Tamara's diary alternates between mundane conversations and graphic descriptions of human dismemberment. In one entry, she would complain about the bitterness of her coffee, and in another, she would write, "I killed my tenant, Volodya, cut him to pieces in the bathroom with a knife and put the pieces of his body in the plastic bags." Another entry reads, "I cut out his lungs, removed them from the body and threw them away in the Frunzensky district." She wrote the following about Ulanova: "I came home and put the whole pack of phenazepam, 50 pills, into her Olivier salad. I woke up at 2 a.m. and she was lying on the floor, so I started cutting her into pieces." Several of these murders were verified by excavating the skeletal remains of Tamara's victims, outlined in her journal. Following the murder of Ulanova and Tamara's confession to the police, mental health assessments were undertaken, and a consensus among experts was that Samsonova had been afflicted with an undiagnosed and untreated schizophrenic disorder. Samsonova was once admired and cared for by family and friends. However, according to the doctors, her untreated schizophrenia had resulted in an indeterminate period of time of mental deterioration. She may have been experiencing a cognitive decline for years, if not decades. This was further made clear when, at the time of her arrest, she began clapping and exclaiming with delight that she would be imprisoned for the rest of her life. Tamara's Book of Spells successfully resolved a number of unresolved murder cases. Nevertheless, the added mystery turned out to be the book itself, which was missing numerous pages for what, as time went on, turned out to be a calculated reason. A few of the bodies had torn paper near the body or in its shallow grave. When investigators discovered the missing pages from Tamara's Book of Spells, they coincided precisely with those discovered with the remains of the victims. Recipes for the spells called for human organs as ingredients. Samsonova appeared before the Frunze District Court in St. Petersburg on July 29, 2015. The outcome of a forensic psychiatric evaluation established that she posed a risk to both herself and society. Samsonova often told psychiatrists that she was obsessed with the Rostov Ripper, another Russian serial killer named Andrei Chikatilo, who between 1978 and 1990 sexually assaulted, murdered, and mutilated a minimum of 52 women and children. Samsonova would be transferred to a psychiatric facility for an undetermined period of time when it was found that she was mentally unable to stand trial. Tamara Samsonova is not the first Russian female killer, and she certainly won't be the last. But when it comes to comparing her to Baba Yaga, you couldn't find a better match. Please hit the subscribe button and leave us a comment below. We would love to hear from you.